This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
Hey, listen!
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Make it so.
It's me, Mario!
I'm Batman. Strong am I with the Force.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're a wizard, Harry.
Through, and all of a sudden I get all these, videos pop up. They're like deleted scenes from The Office or bloopers or stuff like that. And there's a lot of them. So I started watching them and I'm like, man, I gotta watch this show again. Yeah. So I've been going back and started from season 1. Okay. And welcome to World War G episode 199. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
And I'm Colton.
Okay, I don't have the list this week. AJ has a list this week.
I sure do.
So take it away.
I'm sure everybody will love it.
So I recently went and seen Creed 2, and it got me thinking, because it's been a while since I've seen the other ones, but I still remember vaguely what they're all about. They do have a tendency of blurring together. It's difficult not to.
They're about Rocky and his big fight that he has to do.
Yes.
And overcoming odds.
Yes, overcoming the odds.
Yes.
So Variety recently released a article where they had put all of them, including Creed 2, in the lineup and ranked them from worst to best. So I kind of wanted to see if you guys agreed, disagreed.
All right.
So we'll see.
I think you guys are going to be really surprised at my opinion.
Okay.
Rocky, the worst one, yeah. Rocky 2, back in 78-9.
Huh. I wouldn't have thought that to be the worst one.
Out of the bunch, starting...
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched them all, but I don't remember number 2 being that bad.
But it was probably coming off the hype of the first one and how amazing it was.
All right.
And they're just it's difficult to recapture the magic.
Right.
The next one, Rocky 5.
That's the one I'd put as the worst one.
Yeah. That one, I don't know why they made it.
That one, isn't that the one with the robot? Isn't there a robot in that one? Oh, was that number 4?
Number 4 is the one with the Russian.
I know with the Russian, but there's a little robot that he buys.
This one is kind of more of a throwback to where it's after his glory days, and he's kind of it wasn't really needed to be made.
One of the Rocky movies has a robot. That's all I'm saying.
Next one on the list, Rocky 3.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. It can stay there.
It's
not awesome, but it's not the best. It does have Hulk Hogan in it.
Yeah.
So
there's that.
There is that. Take that for what you will.
Next one, moving right on along, Rocky 4.
Huh. That's interesting. Most people consider that one the best one.
Right? That's why I was wondering why it's so... I mean, it's in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, that's really surprising. It's kind of like the Empire Strikes Back of Rocky films.
Yeah. Well, okay, because this was kind of set, supposed to be, during the Cold War, right?
Yes.
And so, after Apollo Creed gets killed, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers.
It's made in 85.
The best year by the sea, 85.
There you go.
I'm telling you, it's the best year.
Yeah, taking down the Russians, that's always been a go-to staple. It's either taking down Russians or Nazis. You're pretty safe with that kind of a movie. So, I don't know why that's the case. Next one.
That's interesting.
Creed 2.
Not from what I'm hearing.
Really?
Yeah. I've heard that it's not getting incredible reviews. No.
Well, okay. So this one actually, to me, could be and I've read articles about this as well. It could be a direct crossover from 4. This is the next one in the franchise because it's about Creed taking on the Russian's son,
Drago.
right?
Yeah, his son. Yeah.
Drago trying to get his wife back, and among other things. But I'll go into that like later. But then we've got Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one.
That one was more of like kind of a drama, right?
Yeah, that was when because Sylvester Stallone only really has two characters that he can really lean on, and I think that was the same year that he also released Rambo.
Well, this was coming off the heels of, wasn't it? When did the Incredibles or what are Expendables?
Expendables?
Whatever. Yeah. When was that? When did that come out? This was 2006.
I think it was after Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think.
And next one, Creed. That one, I can see why. I would definitely put it in the top 3.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Especially when they start playing that music. Yeah, it hits you right in the feels. And number 1, Rocky.
Rocky.
Which kind of makes sense because you wouldn't have the other ones without that. But I actually think I liked Creed a little bit better.
I don't know when it was, but I rewatched or tried to rewatch Rocky, and I couldn't get through it. It was really boring.
He's going around, he's like helping out a thug get money back and trying to make money, and even listening to him speak. He's not that articulate.
No, he is not. He talks real slow.
Were you guys surprised about my opinions?
You didn't have any?
I didn't have any because I've never seen the Rocky movies.
Have you seen not even one?
Not a single one of them.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm sure that you guys grew up with your parents influencing the movies that you watch, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my parents, my dad was a bit of a hick and he didn't really watch movies. And so since I never watched the movies that were his favorite, I never got into any of the Rocky movies.
Okay.
And so Creed came out and I was just like, cool. Not really sure how I feel about Michael B. Jordan, so I probably won't watch this.
It was a good thing that he took on this role, because that saved him from Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So apparently the review I saw about Creed 2 is not common, because on Rotten Tomatoes it's sitting at 82%, and the audience score is 89%.
Yeah.
So apparently it's just that one review.
It's been getting hit and miss, and I've even seen that it wasn't it didn't hit the number that it was projected to get to.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what I saw.
Because with the fantasy league that we're in, didn't they have projections for that? Wasn't that the tiebreaker one for this week, or was it the Wreck-It Ralph?
Wreck-It Ralph.
Was it Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah, okay. I remember because I tied with Nance Boy, and my tiebreaker beat his, so I was in first place this week.
Yeah, you were.
And last week.
Yeah.
I'm on a roll, guys.
Yeah, you are.
Butter.
I've been in 4th and 5th place.
I know.
Last few weeks.
Man, I felt really bad when I saw that I was in 4th this week. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. No. But then it says overall ranking number 1. Yep. So. And
if you guys want to join, feel free.
Yeah.
All of you listeners out there, because it's more fun with more people.
It is. And there are, with that, if we get enough members in the league and we start to do things, there are chances to win prizes and that sort of stuff. So,
well, okay. So speaking with the league, which is kind of cool. I don't know, except it's not football that we're talking about, but it's the league still. What was your guys' strategy going into this week? Because you could have the big money was going to be on Wreck-It Ralph, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
And see, I took Rocky or Creed 2 and a couple other ones to try to, because I looked what the Nutcracker did last week, and it just swept. It was if you'd picked Nutcracker the whole way, you would have won for sure. So I was thinking with it getting closer to Christmas, that it would still do really well.
Yeah, and for me, so I knew Wreck-It Ralph was going to make money, so I put that in the very first position, and then I put I checked, but I don't know where my phone is. I put
well, it took out of 1,000.
I guess you could check.
Out of 1,000, it took $600 something bucks.
Yeah.
For that one, which I was still thinking that the Grinch was going to do well and take some of that. You could either go see the Grinch or Wreck-It Ralph.
Right. So what did I do? That's what I put?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I put Wreck-It Ralph first, and then 2 screens were Robin Hood. That was a mistake. Then 2 screens were Widows. That's also a mistake. And then the 3 screens were that Hugh Jackman film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much have no strategy except for always pick the one that's coming out that week, which was Wreck-It Ralph, obviously. And then the rest of them, I really do have no strategy with this. It's just complete blind luck and good guessing.
Yeah, put all this thought and looking at the stats and checking everything else out.
It's completely random. That's why you guys should play too, because even though we seem like we're cinemaphiles and we're super good at this kind of stuff, it all just comes down to luck. But no, I did Wreck-It Ralph, Creed, and then 5 screens of the Hugh Jackman movie, and then Nobody's Fool.
Nobody's Fool.
Like, just
You just randomly threw it in. Well, because you have to try to use that last little money without losing 2,000. Right?
Yeah. By the way, Nate, if you're listening, next time you put in your picks, you got to fill up all the screens.
You get penalized $2 million per screen that you have empty.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We've known this for a while. We just wanted to keep a leg up on the competition.
So you might want to do that for next time so you don't end up in the bottom again. Just letting you know. Okay.
It's really hard to move up in the overall rank, I've noticed.
It is. Because I've been number 2 in overall for quite some time now.
AJ, you're still number 1 for some reason.
Well, because you look overall, you look at it, you can actually check and see that, like, I've taken 3rd, first, 2nd, 4th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, overall.
He has it memorized. He put it on a plaque.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got myself a trophy, dude. Like,
all right. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we got This Week in Geek. Be back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
On the historic streets of Ogden, there are 2 kinds of people, readers and non-readers. Here's where you can find their stories.
Booked on 25th Street, located at 147 Historic 25th Street, Ogden, Utah, 84401.
Yeah, stop by and say hi to our friend Marcy. You can pick up a new or used book, or you can sell your own used books.
That's right, you can get 10% store credit on what they can sell the book for.
Stop in and say hi, or call them at 801-529-7720. You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/bookedon25th, or you can email them at marcy@bookedon25th.com, or visit their website, bookedon25th.com.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back. All right, so after Stan Lee died,
wait, what?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
In case you didn't know. There's all kinds of tributes and everything to him from a bunch of different celebrities and all that. Well, Bill Maher took a different approach. And you can go and find his comments, but basically he says that he's not surprised that a nation obsessed with comic book movies... No, he's not surprised that the nation elected Donald Trump,
Donald Trump got elected in a country that thinks comic books are important.
There it is. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Words are hard. We get it.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of backlash about that.
Rightfully so. I mean, I get that he's trying to be political and stuff, but don't throw, Stan Lee into the mix.
Yeah. So let me see if I can find what he said here.
Did he issue an apology statement? Announcing that he's ever gonna be on TV again?
I'm trying to see. Even though Maher clarified his comments, it likely won't get very many people back to his side. There's no doubt that Lee can ever be replaced. And his characters... Why does it say his... Okay. On recent edition of Larry King Now, Maher clarified his statement about Lee on Larry King Now, explaining that what he said wasn't a criticism of Lee personally, but rather the idea of comic books and comic book movies. Maher further explained, "What I was saying is a culture that thinks that comic books and comic book movies are profound meditations on the human condition is a dumb effing culture. And for people to get mad at that just proves my point."
I'm not gonna bash anybody else's like fandom, and he doesn't really. I don't think he's really realized how like good, like excellent stories that they can tell in these comic books.
Yes, there are some of the best literature out there in the past 30 years have come from comic books.
Can be found in them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would set him down. I would give him Dark Knight Returns. Or I would give him The Watchmen. You know, say, read these and tell me that that's not incredible writing.
Right.
Well,
you know?
And like what he said isn't even true. The nation is not obsessed with comic book and comic book movies. The nation is obsessed with superheroes.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't idolize a superhero?
They're fun movies to watch. I mean, that's all it is. And yeah, right now it is kind of a fad. Just like Westerns were a fad, or, you know,
the big monster movies, or whatever. And
eventually it'll fade out, but saying that we're a dumb culture because of that, that's ridiculous. I'm sure this guy hasn't picked up a comic book in ever.
Right.
If not in the last 40, 50 years. So I wouldn't want to criticize something that I know nothing about.
Right, absolutely.
That doesn't make any sense.
Or at least do your research so you can have an intelligent, point of view or perspective.
And I mean, Stan Lee, as long as he's been writing comic books, he's been writing comic books about anti-homophobia, anti-bullying, anti-racism.
Yeah.
All that's been in his comic books ever since the beginning. It's helping
push the envelope.
Well, and it's helping kids and people who read that kind of understand those concepts in a way that's, I mean, because look, you aren't going to go, a kid's not going to go and see like or read like anti-bullying, textbooks or anything like that, right. Or college theses on the subjects. No, they get their morals and stuff from comic books.
From comic books and even animated movies and stuff. You've got movies such as like Rango or Wall-E that also have an agenda a little bit in the mix, but it's woven in such a way that it's just like, oh, that's a good point, I
wouldn't even say an agenda. I would just say a message.
Message.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, it's he clarified his comments, but he made himself sound even more stupid.
Douchey.
Yeah. Well, speaking of movies,
stupid and douchey. Stouchie.
Ranker recently released a poll, and they put that The Lion King was voted the best animated film of all time. I see Troy's blood pressure starting to rise over there. Just like, really?
Lion King is good. I'm not denying The Lion King's bad, but the best of all time?
Right?
Okay, I don't think so.
Here's their top 10.
Yeah.
We've got Lion King number 1, Toy Story number 2, Finding Nemo 3, Incredibles, Despicable Me, Up, Aladdin, Monsters, Inc., Wall-E, and Shrek.
Okay. I would take out Despicable Me.
Yep.
And Shrek. I think both those movies are stupid. I would put in, instead of Toy Story, I would put in Toy Story 3 and make that the top because that movie is a masterpiece. And I'll fight anybody who says differently. Another one I might put in there.
Well, okay, so what makes up a good animated movie to
Beauty
begin
and the
with
Beast.
for you? It's got to have music. It's got to have a compelling story.
Yes, it's got to be able to stand the test of time.
Right.
made like a tale as old as time. It's got to span generations.
Oh, for sure.
You know, something like, well, they put Aladdin in there. I mean,
The Lion King it's a great story, though.
yes, and I would put Lion King, I don't know.
Top 3?
I don't know.
Top
even,
5?
I'd probably put it in the top 15.
Okay.
And maybe it's just because when I was younger, when The Lion King first came out, that all my nieces, your wife included, would sit there and watch The Lion King over and over and over and over again, and it kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's still good, so maybe I'm just a little biased.
What about the Iron Giant?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's really good. I'm trying to think some others.
We might have to do, I mean, I think we should probably do on like World War G2.
Yeah.
Like ask everybody's opinion, top 10, or at least top 5.
Best animated films of all time?
Yeah. Have some sort of a debate. Because like even in our movies, when we do March Movie Madness in April, we don't typically get that many. I mean, we get some animated movies that are in the mix, but then they get beaten out pretty easily.
Pretty quick, yeah. Unless it's like a stable like Disney or Pixar film.
Right.
Yeah.
Brave or Frozen or something did pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, The Lion King. I just don't know about The Lion King.
Well, that's the problem, is a lot of these movies, like even, I don't know, I love me some Wreck-It Ralph, the first one.
Sure.
I thought that was fantastic. And it's difficult because it hasn't like aged well enough to see if it's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah.
You know? So I almost feel like you have to pick one of these ones that came out like in the 90s to at least have some years on it.
Or the 80s or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll throw it up there.
All right. So we all obviously know that there's going to be a Deadpool 3, despite my reservations.
I'm really surprised that you're the one that brought up this story, though. That's what's so funny.
Well,
You did enjoy Deadpool 2.
I did. And here's the thing. I forgot today was Sunday because of the holiday. So I woke up, looked at my phone, it said Sunday. I'm like, oh crap. Because I think I maybe sent like one story this entire week. So I was just going, while I was sitting there at church, scrolling through my phone, and like, okay, I'll send that one, send that one, send that one. Just doing it real quick. Because that's the kind of thought we put into these stories. We share them. And this is the one I found. Deadpool 3, TJ Miller doesn't know if he'll return. So, TJ Miller, we know, is Weasel? Yeah. Was he in Deadpool 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. But he has had some legal issues. He called in a bomb threat at an airline when he was drunk. I think to stop his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend from getting on a plane.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Gold star if you know what quote that movie's from. And so he's had some issues, so I'm not surprised that he doesn't know if he's coming back, because I'm sure his insurance right now to hire him is really through the roof.
Yeah.
Which is why you don't see Lindsay Lohan anymore. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that.
So
didn't he also say that there's been no plans yet for a Deadpool 3?
Well, that's just
that's why he's not yet in it, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Because I know they're doing X-Force first.
Yeah,
before they do a Deadpool 3.
And that's what I'm looking for, because it said updated. Let's see. TJ Miller confirms he won't reprise his role as Weasel in Deadpool 3. Though the comedic actor was a prominent presence in the first 2 installments, his future with the franchise has now been thrown into doubt. Yeah, here we go. In 2017, Miller was accused of sexually assaulting a woman in college and was arrested earlier this year for calling in a fake bomb threat. Oh, it was on a train. That's what it was.
That's better.
much better.
Yeah. Fake bomb threat on a train. There's no denying Miller was a strong fit for Deadpool, blah, blah, blah. So, it doesn't seem like he's coming back.
Probably not. I mean, will he really be missed, though?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know how T.J. Miller became famous in the first place.
It's his voice. He has a very unique voice.
Well, stick to voiceover then.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
That's why he called in, and they recognized him. They're like,
I know exactly who this is.
Who this is.
That's awesome. In the Name of the Moon, Sailor Moon, the musical, is coming to the U.S., meaning that it's already been out in Japan and kind of traveled around that direction, but it's going to make its way to Washington, D.C., New York, and other places in March 2019. The main reason I brought this up is not because I really care about Sailor Moon at all.
I was wondering.
Okay, but I was wondering if there's any musicals that they haven't done, because they've done like a Harry Potter, you know, like they've done a Potter, what is it called?
The Cursed Child?
The Cursed Child. They've done that one, but they've done a couple other ones as well. But are there any other musicals that you'd like to see actually, like from cartoons or from anything else, actually be turned into a musical?
Yes. I want to see a mainstream, like hit Broadway, A Nightmare Before Christmas musical.
Okay.
I think it could be really cool.
Yeah.
I think
maybe include a couple of more songs.
Yeah.
Give some more depth to the Oogie Boogie Man.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a few more songs in there. You could, what I'm picturing in my mind is basically like a Tim Burton drawing come to life. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So the sets would be weird and twisty with, black lines everywhere because that's Tim Burton. And I think it could be really cool.
I don't like this idea.
I know you don't.
Well, that's because you don't like Christmas.
Or Tim Burton.
Or America.
But my I don't know how you would do Jack because he's so thin.
Right.
So I don't know if you get
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the problem that you'd run into, because you could either go the cartoony direction and have the dude wear a mask, or you could go the makeup direction, but then his head would be pretty small compared to the rest of his body, and it could look kind of wonky. Yeah.
I think it would be pretty easy, actually, because if you put stilts on someone, they look incredibly tall and skinny. Like, I think it could work.
But that would be pretty difficult to get around the stage and to move and maneuver.
Well, you could
I don't know. They've done a lot of stuff in Broadway shows that are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You can get like an acrobat or something, or a circus performer to do it.
Oh, during that scene, yeah, that's so they kind of dancing around and flipping. And
the real trick is when they take off his head. That would be hard to do.
Yeah.
But that's what I'd like to see. Or maybe like
a Superman one?
No, they've done that. It was bad.
Have they done a Muppets one? A Broadway? Because I'm thinking with the old men up on the stage. I mean, or up in the balconies.
They did. Well, I mean, there was a movie where it was Muppets go to Broadway. Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
But an actual live stage.
That could be kind of interesting. It could work.
I mean, they do it pretty much every week with Sesame Street, but
yeah.
But like an actual Broadway thing, that'd be interesting.
Ninja Turtles?
No, they did that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Ninja Turtles coming out of their shell. Look it up on YouTube. It is horrendous. It is awful.
I was just thinking this different sets could be kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
And them doing all like these different, especially battling the foot.
So what you do, you stay away from superheroes.
Yeah.
Because that never works. They tried Spider-Man. They tried Superman.
Yeah.
It just doesn't lend itself well.
It doesn't translate well, yeah.
So, if you do like Nightmare Before Christmas, or you do
well, that one's easy because it's already got songs. I'm thinking of one that like doesn't have any type of, besides the intro of the music in the opening scene, doesn't really have a
Sophie's Choice, the musical. Let's do that.
All right.
The most depressing musical of all time, Sophie's Choice. Yeah, I don't know.
What about Rocky Balboa? Rocky the musical.
Yo, Adrian.
Yeah, that could work.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah,
that could work. All right, let's go with that.
Yes, we'll make a push for it.
I'm a musical genius.
There you go. All right. So, Star Wars, Disney files patent for most realistic lightsaber ever. The science featured in Star Wars films has always been more fiction than reality, though the inventive tech on display in the series has sometimes made its way to the real world. While real lightsabers will never become a reality, Disney recently filed for a patent that could bring the most convincing replica of the Jedi weapon into the real world that's ever been seen before.
Take my money.
So the new and improved lightsaber has the potential to be the most realistic lightsaber available to date, and will likely command a premium price. In fact, the new invention is a significant improvement on the current collector's models of lightsabers that are more delicate than the cheap toys sold in the parks.
Are they the FX or LX? What do they call it? You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think that's what they're talking about.
$120.
Because right now those are the most realistic ones, but they're not they're
practical.
Yeah. And the blade is always out. Like, you can't
retract it.
So I'm trying to see. They don't give too many details here.
The only practical way that I've ever thought that you could create a lightsaber is if you had a rod that went from the center of the lightsaber all the way to the top, and at the very top it had like a mirror. Right? That kind of, and then you have like a light source that goes all the way around the base of your lightsaber and like shoots up and then hits to, I mean, you couldn't stab anybody, but you could at least like cut through stuff if you had like a laser kind of bouncing back and forth. Kind of a deal.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a series on YouTube called Because Science that Nerdist does where they explained the logistics of a lightsaber and why it could never actually work.
Uh-huh.
And how even turning it on, being in that close proximity, you would explode.
Oh, jeez.
So obviously the real thing's never going to happen. But it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Does it say what the price tag is going to be?
Mm-mm. They don't say the price tag. They don't really give many details.
Is there a specific lightsaber you would get? I mean, I'm going Darth Vader, dude, for sure.
I like Count Dooku's. How it has the little curve at the end.
Yeah. I've always liked Obi-Wan's lightsaber myself.
Pretty traditional, pretty classic one.
Or Luke's lightsaber on Return of the Jedi. The green one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Darth Maul's.
Are any of you guys still playing Pokemon Go?
Kit Fisto. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I still play it.
So they're going to be releasing by the end of this year is what it's projected. They're going to actually have PvP playing where you can actually battle your friends.
Well, it's about time.
Right? It only took a couple of years. This actually might get me to... I mean, I've re-downloaded it, but actually get me to play it. I know they've done a couple of updates in recent months.
Yeah, they have.
But as far as like finally getting to battle each other, that's what everybody's wanted to do from the get-go. That's a staple of a Pokemon game.
And I've played every once in a while. A lot of times I'm just walking around, I'll bust it out.
Mm-hmm.
And my main complaint originally with Pokemon Go was when you played it, you just got the same Pokemon over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And now they've really made it more randomized. You do get a much better variety of Pokemon, like depending on the weather, for instance, depending on whether you play at night or during the day or that sort of thing. Depending on if you're closer to water, if you're closer to the mountains, or, you know.
They kind of had that before, but not to the extent that they have now.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it is a funner gameplay all around, especially now that you can like send stuff to friends and that sort of thing, and but I'm glad that they're finally doing the player versus player, because that's what Pokemon is.
Mm-hmm.
Crying out loud.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take another break, and we come back. We got some movies to talk about, plus video game to talk about, Plus a little more about next week's episode, which is episode 200.
Dun dun dun.
So we'll be back right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Are you feeling nostalgic about your music listening needs?
Do you like the tonal quality that only a record can provide?
Then go check out Lavender Vinyl, located at 123 25th Street, Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, go talk to Kylie or Blake. They have a large selection of new and used records. They will also buy your old records, maybe the ones that are just sitting up there in the attic, gathering dust. And if you can't find anything, they'll be more than happy to pre-order it for you. Now, you can always find them at lavendervinyl@gmail.com. You can also check out their website, lavendervinyl.com, or give them a call on the phone, like a normal person, at 385-240-0336.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back.
Okay, so I recently purchased Pokemon Let's Go, and they have two different versions of this game. One of them is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the same exact game, but you start with different Pokemon, and then there's some Pokemon that you can only get in that specific game that you play. And so ideally, that's how they get you to play with other people, because you have a friend who has Let's Go Eevee and you have Let's Go Pikachu. You can trade Pokemon that you catch between yourselves so that you can fill out your Pokédex.
Yeah.
And so this game is basically just a 3D version of Pokemon Yellow, and then all the ones with the original 151. It takes place in Kanto, which is where they all take place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool to be able to see everything in 3D and be able to like move through the town and go in between buildings and jump off of the ridges that you jump off of, just like in the 2D version of the game. And it's really nice in that you don't have random Pokemon encounters like you do in the other games.
Where
like
you're just going through the grass. And like,
yeah, where you're going through the grass and then like randomly, because you know the algorithm selects that's where you encounter a Pokemon, and then you have to battle it.
I would purposely try to avoid, like I'd avoid them by going left and right and zigzagging, you know what I mean? Like not taking the same route.
Yeah.
Or the one that they like say, okay, here's this door in front of you. I'm like, okay, I have to go to the right of that to try to avoid it, and I still end up hitting like 2 or 3.
Yeah. So, so you can pick and choose the Pokemon that you encounter, which is really convenient because you have streaks for when you catch them. And catching them isn't how it used to be. You used to have to battle them down to have a little bit of health, and then you try to catch them with a Pokeball.
Yeah.
But now you just catch them with a Pokeball, and there's a difficulty. It's honestly just like Pokemon Go. The catching and everything.
I was kind of wondering about that. Well, okay, so when you're trying to evade or avoid like these different Pokemon, because you are using Charizard or flying on the back of Charizard, if his wing grazes them, does that also?
No, I think that there's like a radius of where your person is in the screen, and like because Charizard is a really big Pokemon.
Yeah.
I would be hitting Pokemon all the time if that happened. But no, it's just it's a pretty small radius around you. And it's pretty easy to avoid Pokemon. But a lot of the times you don't want to, because you get rewarded for streaks of catching a specific Pokemon. And so, say you, like, if you're wanting to go for a streak, you don't want to do any less than 31 catches of the same Pokemon in a row, which seems like a lot. But then you send them to the professor in exchange for candies, which is really helpful, and candies are pretty, like, you need them to make your Pokemon be more powerful, because you increase specific stats. And then the higher in the streak you go, the more candies for that specific type of Pokemon. So like if you were catching Growliths and you wanted to get Growlithe candy, once you get to 31, they start dropping Growlithe candies with every catch that you get, up to like 6, I think is the max. And then 200 Growlithe candies will upgrade one Growlithe to the max.
Right.
And make them the most powerful version of Growlithe that you can be. But yeah, it's cool. There's a few Pokemon that you can ride on the back of, like Charizard, for example.
Yeah.
Rhyhorn and Rhydon and not Ekans.
Nidoking or something?
No, Gyarados. You can swim on him just like in the other games. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's pretty much the exact same game minus the Pokemon encounters. So like, you still go through all the caves and battle all the trainers. I think it's a definite improvement and a really good intro game for people wanting to get introduced to the Pokemon universe.
Okay, awesome. Do we rate video games?
I don't think we have.
Even if we have, I don't want to rate this one yet until I beat the Elite Four, which I'll probably do by next week, anyways. Because it's a pretty fast game, especially since I've already played it before in my childhood, because it's the same game.
And you can also go ahead and use Pokemon Go as well. You were saying something about that?
Oh yeah, it works well with Pokemon Go. Like all of the Pokemon that you catch there, you can send them to a park in Let's Play, and play with them there. I don't think maybe you can battle other people who actually have the game with it yet, but my wife just got it yesterday, so we haven't gotten that far. So I'll let you guys know on that.
It did look pretty cool that you're able to have two people running around the map together and catching Pokemon at the same time. And if you like throw them directly at them at the exact same time and hit into them, you can get like excellent or great. There's different like steps to how good your throws like were in sync, and like you catch them that much easier.
Yeah. So does it have like? I mean, you don't know yet, but is there like good replayability to this?
I'm sure there is, just because I've replayed like Fire Red and Leaf Green multiple times.
Right.
But maybe like a year in between replay throughs. Probably not back to back.
Okay, unless they start like releasing new content.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Although if they do like Pokemon Stadium in this game, that would be pretty legit. That'd be way awesome.
Oh, by the way, it's on the Switch. I don't know if we mentioned that, but yeah. All right. I really didn't see or do much this week. I did, however, watch The Christmas Chronicles. This is a new Christmas movie that debuted on Netflix. It stars Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. It's kind of a mix of several different movies. Like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Like there's a lot of the same elements in there.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Actually reminded me a lot of that several times. But the story starts with these two kids. Actually, the story starts with this family. Mom, dad, and two kids. And you see them celebrate Christmas through this camcorder that they have. And they're kind of going through the years and that sort of thing. And the dad's a firefighter. And as soon as you hear that, it's like, oh, he's going to die. And sure enough, when they get to their Christmas 2018, he had died a year before. Spoilers. It's in the first 10 minutes of the film. And so the oldest kid, the boy, is kind of starting to rebel, like he's stealing cars and stuff like that, and doing that whole rebellious teenager thing. Where his little sister,
I'm still like 5 or 6, back in my day.
Yeah, where his little sister is still trying to hold on to the whole Christmas spirit and all that.
They play it pretty safe, apparently. It sounds like it's a Hallmark movie.
A lot of tropes.
There's a lot of tropes, yes. And so one time she is watching some old home videos and she sees this like arm and hand come in really quick in and out of frame. So she's like, what the heck is that? And so she freezes and they kind of look. And you see it's an arm that has kind of a red coat on it. And it's just really quick in and out, like one frame in and out. And so she thinks, I just captured Santa Claus on this. And so she convinced her brother to stay up because it's Christmas Eve and they're going to capture him this time on film. And they end up encountering Santa Claus and stuff goes from there. It's not bad. There's some really cheesy really cheesy parts. It kind of almost dips into Despicable Me territory.
Oh, jeez.
With the minions.
Okay.
When you meet the elves, they're very minion-y.
Like without being able to speak at all?
They have their own little language.
That gets translated down below?
No, it doesn't get translated.
Oh, jeez.
Just like the minions. And so that was a little goofy. Santa Claus ends up getting arrested, just like in the Santa Claus. And he ends up having this big blues concert in his cell with the other inmates, and it's
what?
It's weird.
So like Elf,
it's weird
in the mailroom.
Yeah, yeah. So there's nothing here that you haven't seen before, but the one thing I will say though is the way they show Santa Claus going from house to house is really interesting. He's like doing it in lightning speed. He looks like the Flash going through houses.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. Also, the way that they explain how he gets from country to country is pretty cool. He kind of goes like this kind of portal, kind of this kind of like a speed portal.
So like Nightmare Before Christmas, where they're able to go into the different seasons or different holidays,
or he just flies through a portal that connects Portugal to Spain.
Right, exactly. So that was kind of interesting. That was kind of an interesting take on it, I thought. But I mean, overall, out of 5 candy canes, they even predominantly show Comet the reindeer.
Really?
Just like in the Santa Claus, yeah. Like he's like the main reindeer. I don't know why he's the main reindeer, but anyway.
Because he's the fastest, because he's a Comet.
Yes. He's not even the first one that Santa Claus calls out. It's Dasher. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Dancer.
Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid.
See, he's
Cupid,
like
Donald,
5th on the
Blitzen.
line.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's like...
He doesn't want to show favoritism.
Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true.
Unless you're talking about Rudolph, right?
Yeah.
Then he's kind of got a favorite.
But that's like... I don't know. It's like... it's hard to
really
articulate my words. It's like he tries to make Rudolph feel special because he's mentally challenged or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Rudolph he has
he's physically disabled.
Yes, he has a physical deformity.
Yeah, so he's like, "Oh, you're my favorite buddy," and
slugger, champ,
hits him on the arm a little bit.
I couldn't do this without you.
You're carrying everybody else out there. That's why you're in front.
I've been doing this.
He's like, you also get the pinwheel hat, like to wear.
I've been doing this for 500 years, but definitely need you this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So the science behind Santa and what they show is kind of cool. But anyway, out of 5 candy canes, I'm probably like 1.5.
Okay.
It's not going to become like a Christmas classic or anything.
Yeah. It's a good entertaining movie for the kids.
Yes. Yes. If you're looking for something to watch on, Christmas Day or something, pull up Netflix and watch it. And you'll be fine.
Sweet. I did see Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
I saw it too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, in a nutshell, Dumbledore enlists Newt Scamander to take down Grindelwald because, for unknown reasons, he can't go against him. And visually, I thought this was like a really, pun intended, fantastic movie. But as far as the plot goes, it was kind of a little bit lacking, and it was
confusing and all over the place.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was just like, and it's weird because I love these books and I've read them like tons of times, and I've seen all the movies tons of times as well. And I was still like, I got the references for the most part of who these other characters were in their younger age, but it was
hard to follow.
It was
just because they don't give you very much information about who's who. Or why these people are doing some things, and You know how we talked about Professor McGonagall being in it?
Yeah.
It takes place before she's born.
Right.
Like,
leaving out some of the coolest characters you could possibly put in their younger. Well, okay, they are, and I just found this out recently, that they are making 5 movies altogether.
yeah.
And I don't know. They're going to have to step up their game.
I was going to say, maybe not after this one.
Like,
Right?
I did have a good time watching it.
Same here.
I don't want to let anybody think otherwise, but it was a little confusing. It was super long. It was a really long movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was something at the end of the movie that doesn't make sense at all.
The big reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
No.
no.
Just throwing that in there.
Yeah.
For funsies.
Well, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at 40%
Rightfully so.
on the tomato meter. The audience score is at 66.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, as a movie, like being a critic, someone who's like judging it,
Yeah.
40% is accurate.
Accurate.
But
okay.
as a person who likes Harry Potter, like 66 is good. Maybe even a little more than that for me specifically.
So if you like Harry Potter, you'll definitely get your Harry Potter fix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But and it is there, like, visually it's worth seeing it on the big screen, I would say.
Yeah, but it might hurt your ears. Was yours super loud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you could hear the speakers starting to blow out. That's how loud it was.
Really?
In a movie theater. It was
Wow.
bad. And Emily fell asleep halfway through and woke up during the fire scene.
Yeah.
'Cause it
Where they're
was
trying to
so
capture
loud.
it. Yeah. Woke her from her slumber.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, moral of the story, don't take your, 6 months pregnant wife to a 9:15 showing of
Yeah,
a
it's-
movie.
Duly noted. I'll keep that in mind. Out of 5 wands, I'm probably sitting at like a 2.
Yeah, comparing it to the other Harry Potter movies, for sure, like a 2.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
I thought for sure he was gonna say 4 or 4.5.
I mean, I liked the movie.
No, it did have some, like, its good parts. I didn't get the whole reason for them to include that love interest in the love story. And there's a couple other, like, parts of the movie where they just went off on tangents, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to, like, oh yeah, hey, full circle. He's trying to, take the purebloods and take over the world. Both, magical and, the human world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'll probably end up checking it out. Maybe I'll wait.
You saw the Grinch before this one though, dude. Like, yeah.
Well,
you probably-
that's because the Grinch came out before this one.
If you're not going to see it like right now, I would at least see it in a theater, so
I
like
will.
at Cinepoint or something.
I will see it in the theaters. Yeah. Sounds like I'll probably wait though to do that.
The other one that I saw this week was Creed 2. I had to see this one, like, right off the bat because I loved, like, the first one so much. And this one kind of follows Adonis Creed. He quickly becomes the world champ after, and then, like, as soon as he becomes the champ, all of a sudden, this guy comes out of, like, what's his name? Drago.
Yeah.
His son comes out of the woodwork and, like, I mean, he's been, like, fighting, but in Mother Russia. And, like, sports in general, they're all about finding a story and finding something that people can really, like, grasp, like, hold on to and relate to. They're always looking for, like, a feel-good story where this kid came from, like, nothing and he rose to fame and now he's got a chance to win a title, or, this person, like, was injured and then came back from that, or they just lost their parents, like, a week ago. They're, like, looking for something, and they, like, it did a fantastic job as far as showing how you can capture, like, today's society and people and get them, like, excited for a fight. So once he's become the world champion, now his son, Drago, man, I'm having a difficult time. Drago is
Ivan
his
Drago.
son, comes to the States to take him on. And, they have a pretty big showdown and he's given a shot at redemption. But like in the Rocky movie, he has to go to Russia to keep, like, to have this rematch.
Right.
It kind of, it was really good, and it was pretty fantastic, to see him get beat down and the first go around, because he decides not to have Rocky in his corner. Him and his girl move out of Philly. They move to LA to start a life. And because she doesn't have so much time because of her hearing issues, her degenerative hearing.
Yeah.
That it starts taking a toll, that if she's going to do something with her music career, she's going to have to do it fast. And there's no better place than LA to kind of get that to happen. I thought that was pretty well done, and they mixed that in there. But then they kind of went to Russia and spent a long time with Drago, and going back to why his wife even left him once he lost the fight. And that was the driving force for him to raise a son to, get the title and to bring back this, I guess the pride that Russia has.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was pretty well done. It was a little bit longer than I would have wanted. But the fight scenes were pretty awesome. I would have to say, out of 5 belts, I'm probably sitting at about a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid movie. If you like the first one, you'll definitely appreciate this one. It definitely could be straight from number 4. It could be the sequel to number 4 without skipping a beat. I mean, because, his father, Apollo, got killed,
Yeah.
So there is a story. So yeah, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be subsequent sequels to this.
Yeah.
I would assume.
I don't know where they would go. I mean, but they found a way with with the other ones.
There's going to be 5.
Really?
5 of them.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, where are you getting this from?
I hope they don't follow beat for beat Rocky's story.
Right.
All of a sudden there's Clubber Lang's son that all of a sudden pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a robot, right?
One will have to have a robot. You look it up. There's a robot in Rocky in one of those films.
Sure. Okay. No.
Yeah, all right. So next week is episode 200.
Yes.
We've been talking about it for a while now, and just kind of a refresher. We're not really going to have any stories or This Week in Geek or anything prepared. It's pretty much just going to be us talking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Having conversations. I do have some discussion points that I've jotted down. I would suggest that you guys do the same.
Okay.
Over this week. But we've also got a few questions that have already come in. There was one guy that actually sent, I think, 4 questions. One of which is he wants me to tell the story of how he ended up spending a night in jail. So I will tell that. I will tell that story.
I don't even think I've heard this.
You
story.
haven't?
No. Yeah. I mean, I've heard other stuff.
There are members of my family that don't even know how I ended up spending a night in jail.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So you'll hear that story in its entirety next week. There's a few other questions. Joel called in a question, but there's always room for more. So if you have something that you want to ask us, it could be geek related or not. Doesn't matter. There's just something that, if you've been listening for a while and you want to know, there was one question that said there was one guy that started listening, I think around episode 189, and he doesn't know how this whole podcast got started.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about our humble beginnings.
Yes.
And our fancy mics.
Yes. And there's a few other questions that we have. So if you want to submit a question, there's a few ways you can do it. You can email us at worldwgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our phone number at 385-240-1692.
That is a toll-free number.
It is. Or you can text that number. We'll get it either way. And, ask us your question. So it should be interesting. It should be an interesting show, I think.
I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if we can actually sit here and just have a conversation for an hour or so.
I mean,
I think we can do it.
I think it will be all right.
All right. I mean, it's been 4 years and 200 episodes. I think if we can't by now sit down and just have a conversation.
It's like a 15-minute episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll look forward to that next week. But for now, if you want to listen to any of our other episodes, starting from 1 all the way up, you can go to worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes and the Google Play Store. We're also on cosmicpotato.com. On the social media, you can find us at facebook.com/WorldWarG podcast. Also check out World War G2. A lot of discussion goes on there. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our merchandise that you can buy. Slap our logo on your chest at shop.spreadshirt.com/WorldWarG. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, you can always call, as I said, or text the show at 385-240-1692. So this has been World War G, episode 199. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
And I've been Colton.
And you've been the listener. Stay geeky, my friends.
That's all, folks.